Hey YouTube, it's Alexi Giovani, and in this video I'm covering off the ins and outs of Kapp'n tours, what to expect and how to make the most of them. You'll find out about the different types that I've discovered along with things to look for when going on them. Oh, and if you enjoy the video, please do me a massive favour and give the video a like. So let's get started. Nintendo have capped the number of Kapp'n tours to 1 every calendar day, which is fair enough in order to ensure continuous playability. Unless you're time traveling though, you're going to want to make the most of these daily trips. If you're playing the game as intended in real time, on calendar daily trips I can appreciate the appeal of Kapp'n's shanty with his lyrics, but if you're impatient and can't wait to get there, feel free to mash the B button to get some funny dialogue from Kapp'n, which always makes me laugh. I've been on a huge number of journeys, which you can tell from my collection of gyroids, so if you want to know all about gyroids, their names and their movements, check out my gyroids video where all 36 gyroids dance to KK's Rockin'. From my own personal experience, you can categorize these islands into 3 major types: special, crops and regular. You'll also find that you'll encounter islands with more flowers than your regular primary and sister flowers as well. The special islands include the ones with the vines and the weirds, otherwise known as glowing moss. Sometimes they also have money rocks, and the other special are the very rare astrological island and the money tree island. In the crop ones you'll find all 5 new crops: tomatoes, potatoes, carrots, wheat and sugarcane, and the last are the regular islands but seasonal. Are there any others that you've found in your travels? I don't know if you've noticed this, but the date and time that we're used to seeing at the bottom left on our island is never shown when you're on a Kapp'n tour, and since there's no reference to any date or time, you can only infer that from the surrounds, the island's contents, seasonal factors like tree colour, weather, fallen items from trees. If you're really good, you can use the shrubs growing to tell you the season as well. On the topic of season and weather, there's also a subtlety of knowing what sort of environment you're heading into. At the halfway mark, you'll get to see what the weather is changing into from the place that you're leaving to the place that you're going to. It's a little easier to see it when you're sped up. Cool, huh? All this being said, each Kapp'n Mystery Island has a couple of guarantees. The first is that you'll always find at least 1 gyroid fragment. And if you're extremely lucky, you might find an already cooked and ready to go gyroid as well as the fragment. So keep your eyes peeled for that. The other thing that you're guaranteed on a Kapp'n Mystery Tour is the message bottle, which contains a DIY recipe. The recipe that you get is very much dependent on the type of island and the season of the island. I've tended to find a cooking DIY when there are crops. Be mindful of what you see when you arrive. So if it's snowing and there are crops growing, or are there pines and acorns on the ground? Are the tree colours different, or are the mushrooms on the ground as well? Also take note of the grass type. Is it the square pattern grass with the weirds and the vines? That should give you a clue as to what type of DIYs to expect, and here are a few that I've found along my way. In addition to the seasonal DIY you might receive, you might also get some of the newer items that have been released as part of 2.0, such as this gear tower. If you land on an island with crops, ask yourself, is it one of the ones that you don't already have or grabbed from Leaf? Make sure that you grab the vines and the glowing moss, as many as you can. Oh, you can also grab them from the top as well. These 2 items are highly useful when it comes to crafting materials. Also, you should grab the shrubs as they are in season. Whatever the contents are of the rock, I'd recommend using this technique of digging holes and ensuring that all sides of the rock are cleared before hitting it with the shovel, to ensure that you get all 8 pieces. You never know if the next island is the lucky one that you're going to get and find the equivalent of the Dodo Mystery Flights with Money Rock Island or even the Star Fragment rocks. The dug holes stop the recoil to keep you steady, so get creative with cliff faces or any other objects. If you've got enough time, I'd also recommend spending that little bit longer, given that you're spending 1000 Nook Mile points for each tour, so try to get as much of the crafting materials as possible, including wood and fruits. If you're still collecting your critters, fish or sea creatures, this is also a great time based on what season the island it's in. It might save you that little bit of time to time travel to a different season or find someone else who might have the island in a different hemisphere. This might save you waiting for that right time for a catchable to be in season. It's also a great time to catch seasonal craftables like snowflakes and petals. Oh, and just to keep me honest, the habit that I've built is always burying my fragment from my latest trip near the pier and watering for the next day. Note, I don't have to water it since it's already snowing on my island. And if no more steam is coming out, I know I'm due for another Kapp'n trip. I'd also recommend storage shed and DIY for quick access before and after trips. Let me know in the comments if there are any islands that you've found that I haven't mentioned, and either way, I'm wishing you the best of luck with finding the rarest of islands. This is Alexi Giovani signing off, and until next time, see ya!